this is Ian Aber, and we are back with another episode of Straight People, the podcast for straight people by queer people, because straight people don't have what? Enough. They don't have enough. They need their own little podcast where we just talk about straight culture and straight people and where do they come from and when are they leaving? When are they leaving is a big question that we will find out here today. All right, we have our guest. He is one of the most prolific entertainers in the Atlanta area and maybe the world. We'll all know him in 5 years, like everybody. You know what I mean? Like you're one of the funniest. But please welcome. This is the longest introduction I've done for anyone. Please welcome the hilarious Mark Kendall, everybody.
Ian,
Mark.
Thank you, Ian. Thanks for having me. So happy to be here. This is great.
Absolutely. I can't. I'm so glad that you're on here. Mark, I asked this of all my guests. It's a very difficult question. That's why I always ask it first. How do you identify? Are you a straight person?
Yeah, I identify as straight. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
My follow-up question is, really? That's not what I heard. I'm just well, that's awesome. What I like to ask straight people is because, like, straight people don't have, like, if you're a gay person, I can be like, oh, what was coming out for you like? And when did you know you were gay? And when did you tell everybody you were gay? And then when did you have to tell everybody twice? Because sometimes people forget. Like, you tell them you're gay, and then they're like, oh, I thought you were straight. I'm like, bitch, I told you 6 weeks ago. But anyways, so when did you know you, like, so you're born straight, and then you find out that there's something else besides straight, and that's gay. Did you find that out through meeting a person? Did you find that out just hearing the slurs on the playground, some on television, through media? Mm-hmm. Tell me about, like, when you discovered what gay was.
I think it was a mix of things. So growing up, like early on in elementary school, our neighbors were a lesbian couple and an adopted kid that went to my school, in elementary school, and she was like a few years younger than me. And so that was like my first introduction to it. But I was kind of young at the time, so like as time went on, I learned more about like what that meant, you know. Yeah. So I think that was kind of like my first like exposure to like another person or people. And
where was that? In what year?
It was like the 90s.
Lesbians were big in the 90s. I heard that. So that track.
Yeah, so it's like early mid 90s when I was like in elementary school. Yeah, and I think that was kind of like my first.
Did you know the lesbian couple? Was it like a Khadijah and a Regine, or was it two Marshall Warfields? What was going on with that?
It was sure. Yeah, so it was two white women, and they had adopted a young girl who also went to my elementary school. It was in class with my younger brother, actually, I think, at the time. And so that's kind of how my first exposure to it. But when I was young, I didn't necessarily. I don't think I really knew what that.
That was a math problem that you solved later.
Yeah,
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, those are Allie's moms. But I didn't really know necessarily what that meant. And then over time, I guess I learned more about that. The more I learned about sexual orientations and things like that.
Yeah. So you do stand up, but you're like would you consider yourself an improv performer, a sketch performer, a comedic actor? How would you?
I guess I say comedian, just because because I do.
But you're more than a comedian in my mind. Like, a comedian is like you tell jokes and you might be good at other stuff maybe, but you're like on the one man show level and you do a lot of improv and sketch, right? Is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're shaking your head yes, but they can't see you. This is an audio podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. We're videoing just so we can see each other. It'll be released as audio only. So you don't shake your head yes when I ask you a question.
Right.
But you were shaking your head yes to being multidisciplined comedically.
Right. Yeah. So like when I was in college, that's when I first got into comedy, and I primarily was like a writer. I didn't really perform that much. And then stand-up was the first thing that I did, like performance-wise, I think, like on my own. And then I'm from Atlanta originally, so after college I came back to Atlanta, and that was like in 2009, 2010. And there was stand-up here, but it wasn't like it is now. And I had also had some exposure to improv in college. So so when I first moved back to Atlanta, there was some stand up and I did a little bit off and on, but improv is kind of like what I sort of dived into. And then more recently I'm just like, oh man, but I like how stand up you got to write, and I like writing and doing sketch, and so yeah, so it's all been a little bit of all of it. So
Well, and back in like 2010, that was like even before I started. It was like I would go out to stand up. Improv has always been really big in Atlanta since I moved here in the like mid '80s, and like even like out of high school when I would go to stuff, it was like comedy was at the Punchline, and there was maybe some local comedy that you'd hear about occasionally, but there was like Whole World Theater and then Dad's Garage. So like improv has a legacy of like decades in a way that stand-up's been around in Atlanta for a while, but it's like classes have come and gone, and like the stand-up now is probably a reflection of like what Gilbert started in a way, and what Marshall started in a way, and the Punchline. But that's awesome. So you do something pretty amazing with your stand up and your performances, where you're able to really talk about some pretty complex racial issues without ever really pointing the finger at the audience in any capacity. What I've noticed, anyways. So is that something deliberate on your part? Because like some people are more provocative about like indicting the audience. Like David Perdue's a great Atlanta comedian. And when he's talking to a white audience, he tells that white audience about itself in a way that it knows that it's being told about itself. And I think sometimes what I watch you do is it's so funny that I don't know if anybody is in their active mind going, oh, he's talking about race in a way that might make a white person uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, especially the MARTA thing. Like, the video does it one way, but when you would do it live, to watch an audience just go 100% on board, and the conceit of the bit is that you're doing a speech about MARTA's finally going to Cobb County, and we're going to finally, as black people, be able to rob Cobb County. And here's our plan, that involves like a several mile walk. And and I think that's one of those things like some of the stuff that I've seen you do. So when you started out, was it your intention, or is it just the nature of your writing to really make the message almost sort of like embedded in the comedy rather than the message sort of floating on top of the comedy in ways?
That's a great question. I think it's probably just a mix of the spaces that I've performed in, as well as just what kind of comes naturally. So I think a lot of it is improv in particular. So with improv, at least I come out of Dad's Garage, or that's kind of like primarily where I had performed in the past. And a big thing with them is whenever you bring an audience member on stage, I mean, some people break this rule, but whenever you bring an audience member on stage, it's like, you're never going to make fun of them, like you're never going to make fun of the audience member.
Say that again. You cut out one more time. So when you bring an audience member on stage from there. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. When you bring up an audience member on stage, it's like, you're not going to make fun of them. You're not going to try and dupe them or get them in or anything like that. And so I think that kind of carries over to some of the way I write sometimes, where it's just like, you're trying to make them look good. And it's like, if they out themselves as an idiot, like when they're on stage, like if they want to do something on stage that makes them look dumb, that's on them.
Yeah.
But when you're up there, you're trying to make them look as good as possible. So I think that's part of it.
That's really funny too. That's something that's taught to you. Well, at least at Dad's Garage, I can see that. But like, that's what the audience is the most afraid of with interacting with a comedian specifically, is that the comedian, like, I guess they've all seen The Nutty Professor, where the fucking comedian's out there to destroy you or whatever it is. And that's like, as a comic, I have no interest in doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to tell my jokes, go eat my chicken wings and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's just funny to me that's. And I think that's like for queer people, and I wonder if this is the same for people of color, is that like a lot of queer people that I know, especially my age, don't like stand-up because they associate stand-up with that kind of got you. And as a gay person, you don't want to be singled out in a room full of straight people for nothing. You know what I mean? And I've even had instances where like the guy who owns church is gay and wasn't really into doing stand up, and we did a show, and I was like, no, stand up's not like that anymore. We can book like there are comics who are inclusive, and we did a show, and he sat and watched it and was like, oh yeah, I can. This isn't what I thought it was. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Like, yeah. So where can people find you? We'll do this in the middle. I like to do it in the middle instead of at the end. So what are you promoting? You've got videos out. Your social media in general.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Mark Kendall. If you kind of search for me on like Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. On Instagram, I'm at Mark Kendall Comedy. And, more recently, I've been putting out videos with my friend Bill Worley, who's also an improviser. He also happens to be like an awesome filmmaker. And so what's nice is because he can do everything like shoot and edit. We can shoot in a safe way without having to involve a bunch of people. So we've been putting out videos, and I've been really enjoying collaborating with him. So
what's the feedback been on the videos? Because you've done the one man shows and gotten a lot of acclaim in Atlanta. You're somebody who I saw your name before I ever saw you in person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of so how do you feel like the video, like in terms of, because like what you're doing in your one man show, you're now taking some of those sketches and putting them into.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, videos are great. It's I found that it's way easier to like have it get to more people. And I know that might seem like a no brainer, but it really, I just never really understood that. I mean, it's just because I love live performance so much. And so you're performing and you're like, this is great. Like 10 people saw this, and in your mind, like, that's awesome. But like in video, it's just so much easier to share it especially like, I don't know, like when you're trying to maybe collaborate with someone or talk with someone and you're trying to give them an example of like, oh, this is the tone that I have in mind or something like that. You can send them a link and that's way easier. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and sometimes they don't translate. Sometimes, because I've seen you do, especially the Marta bit, I've seen you do that live as a one person. You're a character talking to a room full of, you know what I'm saying? And that, and you did something for us when we did, what was that? We did a variety show. What was it called? I can't even remember the name of it, but it was a variety show that was set in a high school. Do you remember that? And you played a coach.
Oh, man.
It was me and Jen Smith and Travis Jones hosted it, and I was the principal of the high school, and they were like two students, and that was that was what we were doing on stage. So
yeah.
Like they would intro everything, and then I'd come behind them and tell them to get back to class or whatever. And you did you were a football coach, and you were giving them like a motivational speech.
Oh yeah.
That was the first time that I saw you, and I was like, oh my
cool.
God, this guy. And then of course I've seen you sing the shark song.
Oh yeah.
And without naming names, can we talk a little bit about? I know that you had an experience where there was like a bigger name comedian who saw part of your set.
Yeah.
And a person of color, a person of color. She saw part of your set, and her reaction was that you weren't doing black people any favors with your material. Was that
Yeah.
Do you get that reaction a lot? Because I was so floored that
no.
I've never seen anything that you do and go, oh wow, I wonder if other people of color go. You know what I mean? And so to hear about that, I was like, wow. So that's a very unusual response. Then
I was a little surprised. I mean, whatever reaction they have is just like, I mean, I respect their opinion as a comedian so much. So it's just honestly, like that criticism, I welcome it. I may have frozen up some.
You're fading out again when we're holding a second.
Am I coming through?
Oh,
you're back. Am I back? Sorry about that.
So say that to the their opinion criticism part.
Yeah. So I welcome any criticism where it's just like, oh, you saw something and you didn't like it, and you let me know. Like I genuinely appreciate that. I've changed things before because someone's just like, oh, you know what, like. You may not have done it intentionally, but this came across like that. I think in this particular instance, though, I don't think that they listened to all of the lyrics,
Yeah, I think they came in like they were walking in as you were halfway through.
Yes. So I think, out of context, I can see how that would be what it is. But it's like, I've since thought about that song and I'm like, no, I feel what that is. And like, I stand behind like those lyrics and like,
well, if you hear it from the very beginning to the very end, you build tension like a comedy song. Yeah. So you don't get to the chorus essentially.
Right.
You build and build and build and build, and then by the time you get to the chorus, you get where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Is that out there for you or not? Is that something that people could go watch? Or are we talking about a bit? Or are you talking about a bit that they have to see you live?
Well, I'm working on the music for it now, so I can put it out as a video. So I mean, there's probably recordings of it out there if you like Google it, but I haven't like put it out in like an official capacity.
Well, Straight People audience, there is a bit that Mark does that you will see in the future, and it is a song, and he's dressed as a shark, and you'll remember this whole conversation. Hey, and a big shout out to the 7 people in the Philippines who are now listening to this podcast for some reason.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's
awesome. I got my fan base in the Philippines, baby. All right, so we're going to do a hard shift because that's what straight culture's all about. It's all about just like, okay, now it's Christmas. Okay, now it's Valentine's Day. Or whatever. All right, so I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Mark Kendall, you are a representative for the straight people of the world. So do not fuck up these answers, okay?
Okay, great.
So name me. That sounds like I'm retarded or messed up. Okay. Oh, I can't believe I said that. Okay, that sounds like I don't know what I'm saying. Name me a straight brand of clothing.
Levi's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's the first thing. Bugle Boy, maybe.
Yeah. Even though that involves a boy blowing on a bugle, that sounds like that'd be the game. Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You're at a straight wedding. It's your two straightest friends.
Mm-hmm.
What song do they dance to?
That's a great question. They dance to I'm getting stumped a little bit, but let me think. I hope you dance. What's that song? I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I don't know who sings it, but I've heard the song. Yeah.
All right. I've never heard that one. But wait, no, I know what song you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the correct answer was Butterfly Kisses. Okay. Why do straight people fuck so hard during Christmas? Like, if Hallmark Channel has taught me anything, it is that straight people be fucking at Christmas. They want to fall in love at Christmas. And I'm going to point out that I did meet my husband at Christmas, but I didn't ask Santa Claus for that. I just went out and picked him up and took him home. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just did that myself.
Yeah. You know, I think it might be the holiday movies. Like, you watch all the Lifetime movies, the Hallmark movies, all of it. You get into the Christmas spirit, and it's like, I want this for myself. It's just like the movies and the influx of the media, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do straight men draw dicks on everything?
That's a great question. I guess to just prove, like, I know what this is. I know what this looks like. I got one. I don't know.
But, you know, I just want to point out, gay men aren't out there drawing pussies on everything. You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing that. We don't do it. Lesbians aren't out there drawing pussies on. Well, lesbians do draw pussies on things. Why do straight men love cheap haircuts so much?
Oh, you know what? I think part of it is to just act like I didn't put too much time in this. I'm not overly concerned with my like appearance. So it's just like, oh, I paid $5 for this haircut. You know, I don't care. Yeah, you know, like, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Now these are just straight or gay, and then when you answer me, straight or gay and why. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Hallmark Channel movies, straight or gay?
You know what's okay? So my first instinct would be to say like straight, because it's always like these mostly like guy-girl relationships, but it's just like a brilliant writer I know who's an awesome person, Topher Payne, writes them, and he's an amazing writer. So it's just like, I don't know what you would say, you know, like.
Okay, but I'm not asking you if Topher's gay, because we all know he's gay. I've seen him dressed up as Julius Sugarbaker a dozen times in plays over the years. He gay. He knows he's gay. I guess he's the kind of gay that other gay people go and recharge their gayness off of him, because he's like, that's how much he's got it going on. So the movies themselves, gay or straight?
You know what? I would say gay just because it reminds me of Topher and his brilliance. Okay. So I'll say that gay. Yeah.
So Hallmark keepsake ornaments.
I think I would say that they're straight. That would be my guess. Yeah.
Hallmark keepsake ornaments that also look like sex toys.
You know what? I think
that's not one. That's not one. I just made that up. Okay. Straight or gay? Pumpkin spice.
You know, I think straight, mainly because I feel like the people that brought well, I don't know if this is true, but for me, when I first became aware of pumpkin spice, or the people that first started talking about it were straight women talking about it a lot. Okay. So I think about it as straight, yeah.
Straight or gay? Scary Spice from the Spice Girls.
Oh, my guess, Dude, that's a great question. My thought, this is really what comes to mind. So I think straight because I think about this video that I saw on YouTube where Scary Spice goes to Prince's house, Prince's estate, and they have an interview. And the whole time they are flirting like hard. I don't know, like that's what I think.
What kind of hairstyle did Prince have? Did he have the little bangs?
Yeah, it was kind of short. Yeah, this was like a late '90s interview. Yeah.
Let me tell you, like, there are times where I just go and I look, I type in the word Prince React GIF to image Google search and just have them all come up at once. Because nobody gives side eye or makes this face better than Prince. Like, Prince makes that, like, the dog hearing a weird frequency, face, like nobody's fucking business. Okay. All right. You froze up again, but we're gonna get through it. Man, I'm gonna have to edit this one. Jesus. Okay. Let's see. Okay, you're back. Okay. Gay or straight? Curtains.
Say that one more time.
Gay or straight? Curtains.
Curtains. I'm gonna say that's my thought would be gay. I think that's my first reaction. I think maybe gay, just because I imagine like a straight guy maybe being like, I don't need curtains. Look inside. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, or like not decorate. Yeah. That'd be
okay.
Yeah.
Gay or straight? Drapes.
Oh my goodness. Gay. My thought is maybe gay. That's my thought is maybe gay again. My thought is maybe gay again. Similar. Because I don't know. Yeah. I guess
they're both gay actually. Okay. Curtains and drapes. Because straight people call them blinds. So. Okay. All right, we're gonna do a few more of these and get out of here. We're almost. I think you're freezing up again, but I think we've almost got our 20. So let's see. Are you back again?
I'm back. I'm so sorry about the Wi-Fi.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just it's not that hard to edit. It'll just be I'll have to listen to the whole thing. Okay. Again, straight or gay? Surfing.
Yeah. I would say straight. I would say
okay.
Straight. Yeah.
Straight or gay? Kite surfing.
Oh.
Oh no, you froze.
I would say.
All right. Straight or gay? Kite surfing.
I would say straight because I think about John Kerry for some reason. You know, like I know he would windsurf, but I also I know that's not the same thing. But I just put it all in the same category.
It was the next one was windsurfing, so that's fine. Okay, straight or gay? Straight or gay? Doritos.
I would say straight. I would say straight.
Straight or gay? Cool Ranch Doritos. Oh man, you froze again. Dang it. Okay, come back on Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch Doritos, I would say straight. I would say straight with Cool Ranch Doritos.
Okay. Have you ever heard Shalewa Sharp's album, Stay Eating Cookies? She has a bit about how she was on the tasting panel for Cool Ranch Doritos, and she's like, "You're welcome." It's fucking
that
amazing.
album is so good. Yeah.
Right. Her new one's pretty good too. Or not pretty good. It's as good, if not better. Straight or gay? Green onions.
Oh, you know what? I gotta say, man, I think like I would say, can I say both? Because it's just like green onions. I feel like that goes great on.
So they're
everything.
bisexual, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Straight or gay? Scallions.
Oh, I would say, I would say gay. I would say gay with that.
Yeah. The green onions and scallions are the same things,
right?
But scallions is what gay people call them. Yeah, give me some scallions. Okay, we're gonna try one more. See if you freeze. Okay, we're gonna do this one real quick. Okay, this is a few in a row. Okay. Straight or gay? Baseball.
I'd say gay. I'd say gay.
Okay, straight or gay? Softball.
I would say straight.
Okay. Straight or gay? Fast pitch softball.
Oh, I would say gay. I would say gay.
Yeah, it's actually lesbian. That's the preferred method. It's the fast pitch softball. All right, this is the last one.
Okay.
Bucket hats.
Oh, dude. I would say straight.
Okay. Tiny top hats.
I would say straight.
Okay.
Straight. Yeah.
All right. This will be the last one.
Okay.
Lemonade.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Ian. Can you repeat that for me?
Lemonade.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat it again?
Lemonade.
I'll say straight.
Okay.
I'll say lemonade.
One.
I'd say straight. Yeah.
Okay. The last one. Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I'll say gay.
Yeah, when you put the word Mike's and hard in front of it, everything's gay. Do you know what I'm saying? So, all right.
Yeah.
All right, you got a score of 46%. So you're actually 54% gay, according. I'm just kidding. Turns out all Doritos are straight, and that's very upsetting to me. But Mark, you've been a wonderful guest. Thank you for being a straight person that gay people can stand. I'm just joking. But no, thank you for being such a wonderful guest. Everybody, I will put his social media stuff in the description of this podcast. Anything last message to our audience? Anything last?
No, I don't think so. I just a really pleasure to be here. Great to talk to you, and I really appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Okay, well, great. This has been Straight People. We are part of the Helium Podcast Network. There's a collection of great podcasts, including one by our good friend Katie Hughes from Atlanta. So please check those out. And if you want to be like a good Christian, you could rate or review my podcast on Apple Podcasts, because that really helps. Thanks a lot. Take care. Yay! Yeah.